Hi, welcome to our channel. I'm Kimberly.
And I'm Carly.
And we're the Book Twins. All right, thank you for coming back. Today we are doing book 2 of the Cruel Prince trilogy.
Called The Wicked King.
Actually, no, that's the third one.
No, Queen of Nothing is the third one.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So we momentarily forgot that.
You might have to edit that out.
This is the third one. This is definitely the second one.
I was thinking, no, but Queen of Nothing is number 2, but no, you're right.
No, so The Wicked King. Well, it's been a bit for her. I just finished these this week.
Right.
Yeah, so The Wicked King is book 2. So it picks up a few months, I think, after the end of the first one.
Yes, it does. A few months.
So things have kind of settled into more into the rhythm of where it left off with Jude and Cardan and Taryn and
yes,
and all of them. What to say? Let's see. What did you think about the second one?
I think it did a good job. So I really just like the trilogy as a whole, to putting that out there. I liked the tension between the two main characters. I did like how there were some, how do I say?
There's a lot of tension between Cardan and Jude at the very, very beginning. Not really throughout the whole thing.
Oh, yes.
So, you had at the very beginning, or at the very end of the last one, Jude kind of
decides to do something that we didn't expect.
Throws a twist on Cardan.
Yes.
And Cardan didn't expect it, and he's frustrated.
And he does some things, and they're kind of just in their roles going forward. And you're like, okay, but it plays out, and we see character development, at least for the main character.
You kind of see it for both of them.
Yeah.
I feel like, because you see Cardan make some decisions that you wouldn't have expected him to make.
Absolutely.
And Jude has to react to that, and she has to figure out how to proceed. Because she had made this plan based on what she thought Cardan would do and how he would react. Yes. And now she's like 5 months into it, and Cardan... Right. She's realizing that Cardan is getting used to his role and maybe wants to stay in his role. Yes. And that was not what she planned.
And she is kind of in a panic because she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do after this time period is up. I need to make plans. I need to change some things. But she doesn't quite know how. And there's a little bit of panic. Oh my gosh, I got myself into the situation. Mm-hmm. How am I going to get out?
Well, there's also this whole idea of power as a concept, and how in the first book she wanted to be a knight. And that was her whole goal, and that was what she was working for, because she thought as a knight she'd have power, and then people would, treat her better. And then she gets thrust into this even higher role than she had originally planned. And she's finding that she likes the power that it gives her, and she doesn't want to let go of that power herself.
Yes, but she also does find that the power makes her of a target, so she has to constantly be keeping up her game, and almost foreseeing what her enemies could possibly do to keep one step ahead of them, which, yes, it is nice to be the one in power, but also there's no rest for those in power as well.
Well, and I think she's also finding that the last book, she ended it where she kind of betrayed a lot of people, and she's finding she doesn't know who to trust anymore. Yes. And there's a lot of landmines that she's trying to avoid stepping on, which makes it an interesting book, just because you see how carefully she's trying to do everything, but she is still only 18, and she's kind of out of her depth for a lot of what she's trying to do.
That's one thing
without anybody to turn to.
Absolutely, and that's one thing I appreciated. She is young, but she definitely is an adult acting for herself and acting for others, and there are real life consequences. There's no teenage consequences. They're adult, human, fae consequences that affect many people. And
what I really liked, there was a lot of the times where she is remembering the lessons that she was taught, and how those are playing into the decisions and to the role she is in right now.
Absolutely. So. Yes, and she does kind of regrets some of the decisions that she had made in the past in regards to her family, because she's a little bit estranged from them, and she does miss that familiar relationship.
So, what would you give The Cruel Prince as a rating?
Book 2? Wicked King?
Book 2, The Wicked King.
You go first. I don't know. Probably same. I enjoyed it just as much. It kept the page turning. There were less expected events that happened, so it was more enjoyable.
That's true. It was a little bit more unexpected. I found it a little slow at the beginning.
Okay.
And it's not a very long book, but I personally like the first one the best.
Okay.
Better out of the two. So I would give it a high 70s.
Okay. Like 79?
Yeah, 79, 78.
Okay. Yeah, that works for me. I mean,
it was a good book.
I did like how it ended a lot.
Yes, how it ended.
The ending was fantastic. And to me, the ending kind of made up for slowness at the beginning. There is a trap that you get when you write trilogies, especially for YA, that you have this plot that is very catching, and sometimes it's filled with tropes, but it keeps the reader reading in book 1, and then you get to book 2 and you're like, okay, what do I do? The plot, the environment, the context has changed. It can't be as tropey, and so the trend for trilogies in YA is the book 2 is always harder to get through and harder to read and not as good.
It's true.
And yes, this book did fall into that trap, but the ending hooks you and you're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. To me personally, it was worth it to get that far.
That's true. The ending did make you want to read book 3.
Absolutely. So I would say probably a low 80 for me. So maybe what should we compromise with?
Good. Just a flat 80?
Okay, that sounds good. 80.
All right, 80.
Tell us what you think in the comments. If you agree or disagree. I know this book / trilogy is very popular, and there are very differing opinions, and so we want to know what you think and anything that stood out to you that we didn't mention.
Tell us what you think.